What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be talking about War of the Realms number 2 by Jason Aaron and Russell Dodderton. We're also going to touch on War of the Realms Journey into Mysteries number 1 by the McElroys and Andre Lima Araujo? I probably got all the way up. And we're also going to touch on a little bit of stuff that was going on in War of the Realms War Scrolls number 1 by Jason Aaron and Andrea Sorrentino. And like I said, we're not going to be doing a full breakdown of those other two books, just that there's certain stuff that is happening in those books that puts a lot of context on things that are happening in War of the Realms number 2. But more importantly, we are about to talk about why Jane Foster just became All-Mother of Asgard. But before we get started, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click, click. Okay, so let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. New York is screwed. The Avengers and the rest of Earth's mightiest heroes that maybe are or aren't Avengers or used to be Avengers at some point or another, they are all coming together trying to evacuate New York. While fire giants and frost giants and war angels and dark elves and trolls are just running roughshod, taking out anything and everything that they can swing an axe or shoot magic at. And to quote Iron Man here, this is literally the Dungeons and Dragons bomb just gone off in the middle of Times Square. At this point, Doctor Strange is using every resource at his disposal to try and get New York citizens into the Sanctum Sanctorum. But even then, it's not enough because they can't move people fast enough. And one of the questions, and that I actually really credit Jason Aaron for taking care of this, because this is one of those things I think usually gets overlooked in comics, is that when they're trying to figure out, hey, Black Panther, why are you not using, your Wakandan ingenuity and like warping and teleporting these people the hell out of Dodge? And it's because, remember Mr. Agger, who I brought up in War of the Realms number 1, he, who is also in charge of Roxxon, has basically tasked the entire tech wing of his company to pouring resources into shutting down any and all telecommunications. That also includes communications in and out of Wakanda. We do also get to see a little bit of Punisher and Wolverine team-up action, and of course, Dark Elves, and really elves in general, being vulnerable to iron, particularly the type of iron that Punisher and Wolverine have to offer. It is pretty cool getting to see them team up for a little bit and have a moment, which is very akin to the Wolverine Cyclops moment from Uncanny X-Men number 11, but neither here nor there. But one of the things I do like is I kind of wonder, is like, why does Punisher have a series that's kind of like tied in with War of the Realms? And you kind of get why. I'm not really going to touch on his story a whole lot here because it can be summed up like this. Basically, what Punisher has been doing is that while he was, engaging in his war on crime, he pretty much had to put it on pause because of the War of the Realms. Not only has he put a pause on his war on crime, he's also enlisted criminals who he is now deputized in his war on crime to help save the people of New York. So that's kind of why Punisher is involved in all this. If you read War of the Realms Punisher, then that's what you're gonna get. And I will say, we do finally have confirmation on what actually happened to Odin. We now know we can put the boys to men on standby for Odin. He is very much alive right now, but only barely. He didn't die when the Dark Elves attacked him. He managed to kill them off, and he even managed to summon all of his Valkyries to come and ride on Midgard to try and stop the War of the Realms as it's now finally come to Earth. Though we can pull out the Boys to Men music for Brunhilda. Brunhilda gets caught slipping in this fight against Malekith, and Malekith beheads her. We don't see the head hit the ground, but we do know the sword was swung, and we do know it cut something. Go ahead and play that Boys to Men for Brunhilda, the Valkyrie. Go ahead and make that a thing. It's so hard. But what we really came here to talk about is Jane Foster, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, Jane Foster, she's the worst.
I don't care.
But she's really important here because since sacrificing Mjolnir and by proxy her ability to become Thor during the death of the Mighty Thor story arc, she defeated the Mangog and gaining the respect of her Asgardian peers the universe over, she pretty much found herself in a weird position. She no longer is capable of turning into Thor, and her cancer has gone away, and she's kind of taken up a role as ambassador and become kind of a senator in the Congress of Worlds and an activist when it comes to all things in the 10 realms, helping refugees from the War of the Realms as it was kind of combing across all the other realms before it came to Midgard and helping these people find asylum. So she never gave up the good fight, no matter what happened. And I think this is something most people can, relate to, is that when you've lost something that's become a major part of your life, you have a hard time letting it go. And that's kind of where Jane finds herself. She wants to get involved in the fight. She's picked up a sword, she's picked up an axe, she is jumping on the back of Brunhilda's horse, and she is ready to ride, because even though she doesn't have powers anymore, she still wants to take it to Malekith. That's just how ride or die Jane Foster was. I mean, let's be fair, she decided to keep using Mjolnir during her run of the comics, despite the fact that the hammer was literally killing her because it purged all of the toxins from her body, was essentially the chemotherapy that was killing her cancer. So every time she became Thor, she was literally starting her entire cancer battle all over again. So it was just one of those things that she sacrificed a lot, and she is willing to sacrifice even more. But the problem is, no one's gonna let her. Not Brunhilda, not Freya, and if Thor wasn't still trapped in Jotunheim, neither would he. And it's about around this point when Doctor Strange unleashes a spell at great cost to himself that would allow him to transport everyone instantaneously to safety. Transporting everyone to Avengers Mountain, the giant celestial body that has now become their headquarters. This is where Jane Foster is the most dejected, because she wants to get back in the fight, and she's watching the news and she's seeing everything that's happening. New York is caught in a bloodbath. And she feels like she could have done something, because there is a point where she's with Brunhilda where they pass Malekith. Malekith is literally within spitting distance, and Brunhilda will not let her get involved. But like I said, Jane is sitting here watching all this going down, and she is just broken. And because the forces of resistance trying to repel the War of the Realms needs a leader, Asgard needs a leader, someone who understands Asgardians, and someone with the wisdom to overcome insurmountable odds. And the only person Freya can think of that she is willing to hand over everything to is Jane Foster. And this hurts Jane Foster because she wants to be in the fight. She doesn't want to lead, because that's how Jane Foster thinks. She doesn't want to lead the charge on the war. She wants to end it. One of the things that War of the Realms number 1 and 2 does not tell you is exactly why, and it's not because she doesn't have powers, it's not because she can't wield the Thor force anymore. It's because there's bigger fish to fry. Thanks to Loki, Freya knows that she needs to go after Thor because he is trapped in Jotunheim. And because the Bifrost has been destroyed, they don't have a way to get there. More importantly, because Heimdall's legendary eyesight has yet to recover, they don't have a way to see where in Jotunheim to send anyone to try and track down Thor. And this is where Daredevil comes into play, because some of you may have noticed that Daredevil's kind of looked like he's gotten a bit of an upgrade to his suit. That's not just for show. What Freya does is she gives Daredevil Heimdall's sword, which basically blesses him with Heimdall's abilities, essentially kind of making him a god. And this is something that gets addressed a little bit more in War of the Realms War Scrolls number 1. And this is really cool because when you think about it, you gotta think about it. Daredevil has always been this really devout Catholic character. He's one of the few comic book characters that really has a religion that he clings to. And just to kind of reinforce this, they show you the first time that Daredevil and Thor first met each other, and when it came down to it, even though Thor was very adamant that he was a god, Daredevil didn't believe him. And now that he's wielding Heimdall's blade, Daredevil's abilities have been boosted. He doesn't just hear and see everything in Hell's Kitchen. He can now use his powers to see everything in all of the 10 realms. Whether it's Muspelheim, Niflheim, Asgard, Valhalla, it doesn't matter. He can see anything and everything. And now faced with such godlike power, now the question he has to ask himself, is he a god? Is his faith really this shaken? We have this character who, yes, he has always believed in God, but now he is also a man who has been surrounded by gods, and he still believes that there's only one true God, and now that he's kind of technically become one, makes for some really interesting storytelling. That said, because Daredevil has been running roughshod across the giants of Jotunheim, all across New York, Malekith has taken notice of this and wants to shut down the demon from the kitchen of hell. And to do so, he has captured the one person on Earth who knows how to break Daredevil better than anybody else. Mayor Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Not only that, Freya and Odin had a secret child. Lausa, Odin's daughter, a secret child, still an infant and hidden away. Really, no one knows about this child except for Freya, Thor, and Balder. This child is so secret, it's not even really implicitly clear if Odin even knows that this child is his, that this child even exists. And she's kept this child hidden in Thor's castle in Oklahoma. That's a thing that happened. I think it was in Thor number 7. Maybe, I could be wrong. Freya must put together a squad to try to protect this child. Miles Morales, Wonder Man, Deathlock 2.0, Kate Bishop, Balder, and Druid are trying to protect Lausa from a newly arisen Ares, who has been chasing them down Mad Max Fury Road style in the pages of War of the Realms Journey into Mystery #1. So there you go, that is really pretty much everything that kind of happened this week in War of the Realms. I kind of hope you guys liked the way I did it this time. I tried to read everything that was pertinent and put in the things that are pertinent and leave out all the filler. I read comics so you don't have to. Anyways, let me know what you thought about this week's editions of War of the Realms. War of the Realms #2, War of the Realms Journey into Mystery #1, War of the Realms War Scrolls #1, and yeah, if you read the Punisher and Thor books, then yeah, you can let me know about that too. We're doing a separate video for some of the stuff that happened and all that. But anyways, let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap that bell so you know when I post up. And if you want to become one of Earth's mightiest patrons as well, swing on over by patreon.com/blerdwithoutfear. And if you chuck in a buck, you can get some exclusive content. And if you don't want to become one of Earth's mightiest patrons, that's fine too. Hey, all I ask is that you like this video and share it with your friends. And who knows, maybe they'll become some of Earth's mightiest subscribers too. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and while you're here, go ahead and check out some of these other videos I got floating around here. But until next time, Plus Ultra!